What's up, you guys? This is Cha Cha Mystique, and you now tune into Live at Radio. You're about to watch part 2 of the interview with Troy Reed discussing his new book, I Never Met ALPO. Please click the link in the description box below so you can watch part 1 to be all caught up. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the show.
I would always tell him, and one time in the car when we got into it, he was like, yo, bro, I'm just walking in my truth. And it was like, no, big bro, this is your past. Your truth is the contract you signed with God and the government to give you a fresh start. Remember the truth you said, if I could only come home to my trees and dares. Remember the truth you said, man, if I get out of here, I would do things different. That was the truth. So that's what I meant by saying you wasn't walking in your truth, and he knew this. And when I said this to him, he stopped, like he had to give thought to it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. I don't mean that when the first time he came down here, I don't know if he was standing there the first time when he first pulled up to the building or whatever. I don't know if he was here, but it was good to touch and feel people and see what Harlem looked like and see what things look like and get a feel. But that's just checking out your past. That's it. Let's get back and walk in your truth, because honestly, sis, everything that's taken place with ALPO name, everybody admirably on social media goes up if they mention it.
Yeah.
Right? This is a lot of power being wielded by him. If he would have just walk in his truth, God would have blessed him in that way, because he would have remained in his truth. See, it was nothing but blessings in his truth. Hell was behind him, and he went back for that. So that's what people have to understand, and that was our relationship, and this is how we talked when we spoke. But after a while, he didn't want to hear what I was saying. After a while, he didn't want to do that. What I was saying don't sound better than the nigga he meeting on one of these corners in Harlem saying, yo, where we going tonight? What's poppin'? I don't make sense no more to him. I stopped. Troy Reed stopped making sense to ALPO.
You know what I think it was too, because he was confined for those years, and then got the smell of it all. It was the allure of Harlem and the allure of the East Side, and just being around familiar faces where he's been around strangers. Like he even said it himself, when he was in Maine, he's around college kids and all these people he probably wouldn't normally hang out with. I mean, he'll be nice to them and talk with them and party with them, but it just didn't seem familiar. Mm-hmm. Do you think, though, you kind of inspired him to want to go? Because, like, when you went to go visit him in Maine, you looking real Cameron, Harlem, Pink Salmon fresh, mm-hmm. and he's looking camouflage in the sticks fashion when we known to wear Dapper Dans and things like that. You telling him about, the stores and different things like that. Do you felt like, he got a little whiff? You know how a crackhead gets that little itch when they see a white lit somewhere and they want to smoke it? Do you think you was that for him? The whole New York swag. I'm coming from New York. Like every time you said New York, period, was a trigger word for him to want to actually see it, especially since you had access and you was in that realm?
Oh no, not me. Because there was a nucleus of things that took place slowly. Ultimately, it was fast because it was only 5-6 years. But it was like a slow thing that was taking place to him. And they was all working on him at the same time. So being at that he loves people. So I understand, because I don't know another person who loves people as much as he loves people. So that's one nucleus. 2, ego. He has a really huge ego that has to be fed. So that was another nucleus that connected with the people, because the people fed the ego. So that's a nucleus. And then there was what you said, familiarity. So that was he loves, he wants to remember things for what they was. But then there was this ambition to be something, to get back in pocket. And because he had abundantly from a young age and did it like no one else has done it, and only a few has done it, he wanted that back. he just missed the target for that. The target was off. Meaning, you're gonna get it back through the industry because everything about you is worth money. So you're gonna get
And
it.
everything about him, the industry jacked.
Yes, and the industry needs you. The industry needs you.
That's why I had a little like conflict when I read the part where, you know, he was shopping around. Now I get the people pretending to be the plug and stuff like that, because you do get that. You know, I get that even as a journalist. Oh, I know this person, you did an interview and they send you around on this song and dance. I get that aspect, but it's almost like you were saying, like nobody really wanted the story because nobody wanted to sit next to him. But then when you look at YouTube, everybody wants the story. Everybody wants to be next to him. But in the book, you made it seem like, you know, he was a too dangerous type of thing, or nobody wanted to be associated because of the name and his past and things like that. So how does that work a little bit, especially now that you're saying that the industry wants you or needs you?
Look at the authentic market. The authentic market is you. You got me right now sitting in Harlem at his building in the middle of his projects. This is authentic. This is true. This is I'm sitting right here in the middle of his project where he grew up. This is authentic. All the other people on YouTube is pretty much authentic. They doing what they doing from home and from a phone, and they don't get no rawer than that. But then there's a system that sits behind a desk called corporate America, and they not coming here. They not going in the trenches. They don't want to be connected to anything that can mess up their situation or that sounds a little too violent for them. So what I kept trying to tell him, so that's why you see the phenomenon, because the authentic market knows the value of output. But Hollywood, while he was alive, was running from output. So all the people, think about it. And then we can just go with African Americans that are sitting on $1 million or a couple of $1 million sitting. And all they got to do is say, I don't have to have nothing to do with output, but I'm going to give him a couple of $100,000 for his rights and his script, and I'm going to go back to Hollywood and give it to producers and produce it. They won't even lay a finger on it. They won't come. They won't do a deal with him. And he didn't understand it. They wouldn't do nothing with him until he rose up to the level. He rises up to the level, and where they could see, oh, he's about to make it, so I better get him now because he's rising up. He's on a course of getting in the door. So I better go now and catch him before he gets in the door. Or if he gets in the door, now I can come to him with a master plan. But he just had to go through hell to get to that door. They wasn't going to let him in. But now that he's dead, he probably has 10 deals on the table.
And you said that, you was like, it's easier to deal with a dead man. You said that in the book as well, you know. And you see that with hip-hop artists these days. You know, they take out life insurance on these young boys, and they, you know, antagonize beefs and things like that until something fatal happens, and they recouping all that money back. And a lot of these young dudes are independent that's getting distribution deals, but these distribution labels are actually getting their money back through this life insurance. So I totally get what you're saying. So you're still trying to do the interviews, you're going in and out with him, it's a constant battle, you're trying to tell him that he needs to go to Maine and different things like that. I know you said you gave up when you moved to California, but did you give up long before that? You was just hanging on? Because it almost seems that like you did.
Never. I've never given up on him at all. I just had to come to the realization that I can't imagine what somebody don't imagine for themselves. I can't want something for somebody they don't want for themselves. It breaks my heart. I'll keep breaking my heart. I'll keep disappointing myself. So I was in that type of situation with him, where I'm watching him slowly unravel back into from Albert back into ALPO.
Do you feel like it went worse after his mom and his sister passed away?
For sure. Because his mother and his sister and his mother would say things to him that would make him be like, all right, Mom, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm going. I'm gonna go back. I'm out of here. I'm not gonna be here alone. I'm gonna go. So it was, you know, Poe had a angelical kid side about him and for his mother. You know, he loved his mother. So, but once his mom was gone and his sister was gone, his rocks was gone, his foundation, he was a little lost. And he felt like that's where it kicks in that he was now looking for familiarity. He was now looking for...
To fill that void.
Yes. I never saw a man love a woman so much in my life. And I love that he had for his mother was the same love he had for women. So he needed that. He needed that. And he definitely didn't have that in me. So he was coming down here seeking it out. And that was part of the reason I kept him down here as well. Because he was seeking out that to fill that void of that motherly or that woman love from that woman that was going to be the right woman from him. Until he got to that point of the right woman for him. So that's what that was. But I personally never gave up on him. I just had to hold him. I kept beating him in the head. You don't want to hear that. It's like your parents. Keep busting your head with positivity. You're like, I'm good. I get it. So that's what I was doing to him. So he wanted to get away from Troy Reed. You know what I'm saying? But he would call me every week. He was still checking with me every week. I was still checking with him. He would send me a text. If his birthday came, June 8th, and I didn't remember his birthday. I didn't know. I didn't even call me like, yo, really, little bro? Really? Really, little bro? I don't care who didn't call me, but you, little bro? Really? This is how he was. So we wasn't speaking like that at that time. But he expected that call. You see what I'm saying? So I never gave up on him, as he would never give up on me. His words was always, yo, bro, oh, you know if I ever get where I'm going, you know I got you. You know I got you. That was what he would say. When we didn't speak for a whole month, or he would send a text, it would be a text, would say we didn't speak for a whole month. That was his outlook.
I got a question, and this is a funny question. What the hell is the thing with the bodyguard shit? Because it seems like everywhere y'all went, he's sitting here trying to be like this fake-ass bodyguard, checking people's IDs, everything like that. Then he gets a job at Red Roosters as a fucking bodyguard. What the hell? It's like that was his second dream. Outside of being a fireman, he wanted to be a bodyguard. Did he ever explain to you what the hell? It seemed like a fetish. Like he was doing too much. Like, what's that bodyguard thing about? Did he tell you?
No, the bodyguard thing was it allows him to interact with people and girls. So if you at the door, he's like, yo, let me see your ID. He now was able to create communication with you. You see what I'm saying?
You know what I think too? It was also the hustle too, because now you have access to the place. Like ain't nobody really checking for you. Yeah. You know, that was see?
He
know how to maneuver.
Yes, he know how to maneuver.
Yeah.
He know how to maneuver. So that bodyguard or that, you know, whatever was just something that he knew that would put him in contact with people. He knew how to connect with people.
Yes. So like I know you touched on the contracts and you had to fall back and different things like that but like you saw that he was struggling, right? Well, it seems as though he was struggling. He was asking for weed. He's constantly in the streets, different things like that. He's telling you that he might be having some financial situations, or even because honestly, he had a different car every time I saw him. So, you know, when you were saying he was going through financial difficulties, it was almost a shock because I'm like, one week I see him with a Jeep with no doors, which scared the fuck out of me because I'm like, don't make a sharp turn or your ass is in the street. And then another time it's him with like this foreign, another week it's the truck, another week it's this, that, and the third. He's on his Harley Davidson and things like that. So do you feel like if he was financially mature to handle this thing, but if you felt like he was going through a situation where he didn't really have it like that and he was at a fork in the road as far as opportunity is concerned, what made you renege on sending him the advance and the contract about the rights and everything like that when he was in California?
Because you gotta understand something. You can have 10 cars, you have 2 houses. But if your mortgage and your bills come up to $20,000 a month and you're only bringing in $17,000 a month, that means you're in a financial bind. So I've never said that he was broke or he was twisted or he was this and that. No, Big Bro spent money.
No,
And so-
for the record, the reason why I'm saying that because I told you I did a book review on your book and we was reading through it and discussing it, and a lot of people did feel like that, like.
Well, let me clear this up.
Yeah, it gave the impression that he was broke and doing
No,
bad.
no, sis.
Especially when he had to resort to selling weed
No,
and everything
no,
like
no.
that.
Let me say this to you. Poe is used to a certain lifestyle. He was getting back into trying to be used to that certain lifestyle because he just came from prison for 24 years, so he ain't used to no lifestyle. But he was starting to like things, want things, hang out, do things in a different manner. So he came home to money, and he had money, and he made money. But once again, if you are spending more than what you got coming in, that immediately leave you with nothing. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it takes away your bike, it takes away your house. You're still able to cover your bills and do what you're doing, but you're in a really tough situation. In different times as he was in those situations, as I've been in those situations so many times. You understand what I'm saying? So if somebody's taking that as a semantic and saying that's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. If you understand money.
I wanted to clear that up
Yes.
because that was like, we spent like a good 20 minutes
Oh, well,
talking
then,
about that.
I'm sorry, but that's totally wrong. So when Poe was coming at me and he's saying, if you're saying to me that you want to go do wrong with some good money, and you want to go do wrong, why would I, who am not doing no wrong, and I'm breaking my neck with my good money to give you money to go do wrong?
Yeah, and another thing
make
about
sense.
it, because Phase on Love was on Vlad TV, and he talked about him and Poe was supposed to be doing a podcast and things like that. And then even with the weed, because off camera I did ask you about this, but even with the marijuana, you know, there was talks of him actually, since New York, during this time when he was alive, New York was making marijuana legal. You know what I'm saying? Even though you don't see too many smoke shops happening, but it's the process right now. So you know, a lot of people.
I'm not gonna make excuses for him right now.
But let me just say this so that people could be clear. You know, a lot of people were saying that instead of him trying to nickel and dime weed, he was actually trying to be a distributor and have like a smoke shop and different things like that to do it legally. So what's your direction?
I can't say that. He was hustling. He was trying to hustle. You know, I'm never gonna talk bad about him, say nothing bad about him. But the truth of the matter is, he was getting into lanes that he shouldn't have been in. That's the truth of the matter. He was trying to dabble in situations that, yeah, he ain't got to totally get his hands dirty with it, but he was.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He was trying to make something make sense to keep a livelihood going, which is fine. I totally get that. What he didn't understand is you don't have to do that. You're worth this over here. Let's just get you over here. You nothing that you could do on the street is ever going to add up to what you're worth over here. That's just the truth of the matter. And he was dabbling in things that he shouldn't have been dabbling in for no reason. Like, why are you doing that? Because you're worth millions over here. Sometimes it takes a little time. Sometimes it's a slow walk. But let's get you over here because you're way more valuable over here.
But even with that, even though you decided to not give him the contract and things like that, do you feel, because since we're talking about Clubhouse, a lot of people was feeling like that would have really changed his life because now he was legally confined.
I know what he was going to go do. He told me what he was going to go do. He told me what he was going to, a little bit for his bills, what he got to do, but this is the movie he's trying to make. I'm not doing that in a million years. Like, why? Like, that doesn't make, like first of all, at my age, hustling is a curse. It's no good can ultimately come out. If you get in it for a quick minute, that's fine. You got in it, you made some money, but I don't know of a Bill Gates hustling. I don't know of many super successful niggas that was in the streets. So, and any nigga that was in the streets will look back and go, man, I could have just opened a business and rolled it out and didn't have to do the 25 years and still landed where I'm at right now. So, because of that, what he was trying to do, no one is going to convince me that he could have took something and did well with it. Once again, that's stepping out of his truth.
Stepping out of his truth and his potential at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when somebody, I can understand somebody reading a book or reading words and misconstruing it or thinking my thoughts, I meant this. No, this is what I meant. 50% of it was, let me just get him here. Let me lower him here. Because if I get him here, I know he won't go back. I know he'll see the bigger picture. But like I said, I fought with Big Bro. Big Bro had the eye of the tiger for Harlem. That's the truth of the matter. He had the eye of the tiger for Harlem. And when I tell you he fought with me, not fought with me, but just, we went at it because he was like, yo, leave me alone.
So you went through your heart surgery. He was there with you the whole time, trying to keep you in good spirits and taking care of the situation and things like that. He gave a joke saying, you better put the script and the contracts and everything because I'm coming to the funeral and I'm coming to get it. And he also mentions the Louis Vuitton Dapper Dan jacket. Do you still have the jacket?
No. I gave him back his jacket. I don't know, he had something going on with something in the fashion industry or with somebody. And I sent him back his Louis Vuitton jacket. But Poe always had jokes. It was, he didn't have a sympathetic type of bone in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he did, but he would offset it with jokes. He always offset something with jokes. So when he said to me, nigga, don't die with none of my stuff.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Nigga, don't die with none of my stuff. That was just who he was. Like he was a comedian, and he said directly off the top of his head whatever he felt and he meant, and sarcastically in a joke. Anybody who knows him knows it's a joke. He couldn't hold water. He gonna tell your business. He's gonna tell everything about you. If you tell him something in secret, he's telling. You know what I'm saying? So, that was how we joked. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I meant. But yeah, his Louis Vuitton jacket, I don't know who has it now, but, he gave it to me. I had it. I always, he knew it was safe for me. And he said to me, little bro, one day, like, yo, I got a situation for it. Can you send it? I sent him the jacket. It was just my job to keep it in safety for him.
So you was there and seeing him in captivity, the process of him being out, the process of reverting back to the streets and different things like that. Towards the end, like closer towards the end, it seems like, he was getting worse. He's more tired, wasn't in great spirits, different things like that. Then he passes away. You know what I'm saying? He passes away, and that was devastating. I think you did a great job illustrating all those different avenues as well as what it meant to you when he was gone and different things like that. How hard was it to answer your phone? Because one of the things you're saying was that everybody's calling you on social media, you seeing all these things happening. How devastating was for you to look at social media and see everybody saying the things that he said? Because not only was he a trending topic, he shut down the internet and every app, whether it was YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, even Clubhouse. I just joined Clubhouse at the time. I joined Clubhouse on October 21st. And that was like every room on Clubhouse had ALPO in the headline. So what was that? Was it like devastating for you? How did that make you feel in that moment?
Hey, we're jumping out of an airplane today?
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
It's on my bucket list.
Bucket list?
Yes.
Hey, you ready to check it out?
Yes, I am.
We're on 13,000 feet, going real fast back towards the earth. Go skydive, baby. You want to go again?
Yes.